Hey everyone, it's Alissa from Planned Alissa, and I am here with my print-on-demand POD sales update for the month of February 2017. And as usual, this is pretty much a merch sales update. But before I get started, I just wanted to say I did have a request that came in via YouTube from one of the viewers for me to do a live Q&A show on merch. I will just put out there that I don't feel much like an expert in merch. I'm still figuring this out myself, and there are people that are doing like way more in terms of sales than I'm doing. I don't really do any marketing, so I can't even really answer questions about that. And my other disclaimer is that, as you know, I don't really do live shows because, it's a learning curve for me and I have to figure out the technology and there could be glitches, so I will put that out there as a warning too. But I am willing to do a live show if there were people interested. So if you are, please leave a comment below. Just say, hey, I'd love to see a live Q&A merch show or whatever you'd like to see, I guess. And also, let me know what time, day of the week might work better for you, because I really have no idea what works for folks as a live show. I set my own hours and I have my own schedule, so it doesn't really matter to me, but I know people have different schedules and I'm not going to be able to accommodate everyone, of course. But if there's a general consensus for, time, day, that will be when I'll try and do it. And I don't know when that will be. I still have to figure out the technology, but I will try to do something if there is some interest in it. So now let's get into the actual update, my sales for the month of February. So this ended up being my best month on Amazon merch. I managed to just by like $5 or so my December sales on merch, and so that's pretty awesome, especially for February, which tends to be a slower time of month for selling. I know it is for me on the other places where, I sell physical products on Etsy and Amazon and eBay and whatnot. But great month for me for merch. Now I do have more shirts up there. By the end of February, I was just over 190 shirts. We were able to, they kept changing the daily limits, but I've been meeting with whatever the daily limit is for each day. So it was, it started off, we could put on 3 shirts, then they bumped it up to 4. Then they were having trouble keeping up with demand, so they bumped it down to 2, and now it's back up to 4. So I've just been, putting on my shirts each day. At some point, I'm going to have some that are going to go extinct, but right now I'm at 190, or at the end of February, I was around 190. I think I'm at like 200 or so, not quite 200 now. So anyway, my sales on Amazon merch for the month of February came to a total, sold a total of 142 shirts, for total royalties of $769.56. I also sold some stuff on Zazzle, not a whole lot, but I managed to make $10.07 this month on Zazzle, and wait for it, I made 33 cents on Redbubble this month. I'll explain more about that a little bit, but yeah, so not bad, I guess. Obviously most of that is merch, and no marketing whatsoever is going into this. So this is just organic sales, and I'll go through each print-on-demand platform. So Redbubble, 33 cents. Wow. Those were 2 stickers that sold. One had a royalty of 21 cents. One was when they had like some kind of discount going on, so it had a royalty of 12 cents. So I made a total of 33 cents. And here's what happened. So I think this was actually in January. I opened up a Redbubble account. Redbubble, if you're not familiar with it, is a print-on-demand site, similar to merch in that you upload a completed design and you can put it on different products. So they have more than just t-shirts. They have t-shirts, they have different kinds of t-shirts, they have sweatshirts and other apparel products, they have tote bags, phone cases, stickers, posters, clocks, some random different things there. They are their own platform. They sell you, if you want to buy from Redbubble, you have to go to redbubble.com and, order a product. And so, I was looking into it in January. I set up an account, and just to see how it worked, I just uploaded a couple designs. These were things I already had created for Amazon merch, and I just put them on like a sticker and a postcard. I was just like testing it out. I had 2 designs. And then I was like, okay, I see how it works, but I really don't have time for this right now. And I just kind of forgot about it. I never set up a profile. I never did any of the things that you're supposed to do. And then one day, this month, I got an email from Redbubble that I had sold a sticker. So, I mean, I only had 2 designs out there. They were only available on 4 products, and yet someone managed to buy one of them. So I was like, maybe I should actually, take some time and add some stuff to Redbubble. So I did add a few more designs. I haven't added very many, but I used completed Amazon merch designs and put those on some more products. So I do have more than just, 2 stickers and 2 postcards on there. And I did sell another sticker from, those batch of things I uploaded, but obviously I'm not exactly killing it on Redbubble. Now Zazzle, you've heard me talk about Zazzle before. It too is a print-on-demand site, a little bit different in that, unlike Redbubble or Amazon Merch or a lot of other sites, Zazzle really, their focus is on customization. So pretty much any design you put on there is eligible to be customized by the buyer, and then you can create designs that are made to be customized where they just have to fill in the blank and it'll put like their name on a shirt or whatever product. Other things like invitations have a whole bunch of fill in the blank fields that you can set up. So I actually did take some time to put some more stuff on Zazzle this month, and honestly I don't know if it was worth the time because I didn't really make much with it. Again, I have done no marketing. I'm sure if I did marketing I would bring in more sales, but I just, I don't know if I have the time for that, and I don't know if I have the inclination for that. But anyway, what did I sell on Zazzle this month? Well, I sold 3 keychains. It was the same design keychain bought by the same buyer, probably as gifts for 3 different people. That brought in a total of $1.20 in royalties. Sold a single greeting card that brought in 70 cents in royalties. I sold a batch of invitations, 75 of them. That was my big sale of the month, and that brought in $7.05. That's interesting because last month, I don't know if you remember, I mentioned that I sold a single invitation on Zazzle, which was weird, and I was like, well, maybe somebody buying it as a sample, which apparently was the case because this was the same buyer who bought that single one. They bought 75. And then I sold 2 different buttons, pins, whatever you want to call them. 2 different buyers. They brought in 56 cents a piece, or a total of $1.12 in royalty. So I made $10.07 on Zazzle this month. Was it worth the time I put into it? Probably not. So definitely not really putting as much time into Zazzle, and just focusing my energies on Amazon Merch because that's what's bringing in the money, guys. So like I said, let's get into the merch sales. I normally do a screenshot of all the merch things, but it's going to become so small, to crop the screenshot, you're not going to be able to see it. So I will tell you, I sold 142 shirts, total royalties to me $769.56. That was 32 different designs, 32 different styles of shirts. Now, obviously, some sold more than others. My big seller this month I sold 23 of. I had another one where I sold 17, I think, another where I sold 18, and goes down from there. Had some in like the 10, 11 range, some in the 7, 8, 9 range, and then, lesser sales, some 4s, 3s, 2s, and a whole lot where I just sold one of a single shirt. I obviously am not going to share with you the designs that are selling because of copycats and issues like that. So what can I say about them? I mean, nothing is terribly earth-shattering as far as my designs. Usually they involve some text and a graphic, but nothing too complicated. I've made them all myself, sometimes using purchased artwork, but it's all things that I've created myself. I'm using Affinity Designer on my computer right now to create the shirts, and I'm pretty much self-taught, so I'm not a professional or anything, but I'm having fun and figuring it out. So I'll give you a breakdown of when you put a shirt on Amazon, you can put on an Anvil shirt or an American Apparel. You can't make it available. The buyer can't choose. You have to pick one or the other. The difference is the Anvil shirts are a little bit lesser quality, and their price reflects that. They're more traditional fit, very basic, cheap t-shirt. American Apparel shirts are a little bit better quality. They're not as, these are still like the basic American Apparel shirts. They're not as nice as some of the American Apparel shirts that are out there, and they're a little bit of a slimmer fit. Their price point is a little bit higher, so you can figure that when you're figuring the royalties. My prices are not quite, because I've played around with some different things, but my shirts are basically priced between $16.99 and $19.99. My target is to make at least $5 per shirt, so I've played around a little with the pricing, but basically $16.99 to $19.99, which I think is the max someone would be willing to spend for what is basically a novelty t-shirt. So Anvil is the big winner in terms of sales. I think, what do I have here? I had 119 of the shirts that sold were Anvil, 23 were American Apparel. Again, I don't know how much that reflects the popularity, because most of my designs are on Anvil, so if they were on American Apparel, they might have sold just as many. So it's just the way I did things, so it gives you an idea. Both sell. I don't know that there's a difference. I try to choose what I think best fits the particular design, like if it's someone that's more likely to want the American Apparel shirt, or if it's more like a cheap shirt that somebody wants the Anvil on, or just who it's designed for. I guess I really don't know. It's a guessing game for me. I wouldn't say that I have that figured out. Shirts can be available in men's, women's, or children's sizes, and it's just a matter. The men's and women's are checked by default, and then you have to check kids. And the reason for that is sometimes you have designs that wouldn't be appropriate for a kid's shirt. If it references drinking or some other adult topic, probably don't want to put that on a kid's shirt. All my designs are available on men's shirts. Nearly all of them are available on women's shirts. The only exception would be if it's something that was like really designed for a man, like World's Best Grandfather. There's no reason to put that on a women's shirt. And a lot of my designs are available on kids' shirts, but not all of them. This month I sold 65 women's shirts, 54 men's, and 23 kids. I mean, the women's ones, we can assume those are all women buying those. The men's ones, most of those are probably men, but some of those are going to be women, because if you're a woman, sometimes you buy a men's shirt. You want that kind of fit as opposed to the girlier fit, that's the womanly fit, whatever you want to call it. You don't want just like a basic t-shirt, and the different sizes too. Like if you're gonna wear it with like leggings or something, you'd probably want like the men's shirt as opposed to the women's shirt. And the kids ones, I think, are safe to assume that those are all kids. So obviously my shirts appeal more to women. I don't know if that's really I don't know if that helps you at all, because it's probably because I'm a woman. And so the stuff I'm designing is probably going to appeal more to women, because that's, my thinking. So it's all coming from a woman's perspective, and obviously just coming from a men's perspective, it might appeal more to men. That's my take on it anyway. I don't know. But women's shirts for me have been more popular. Do a breakdown by colors. As everyone puts out there, I think it's a generally assumed thing that the most popular colors are black and navy blue, and people just like a darker colored shirt. I understand that, I do too. But this gives you an idea for me what have been my most popular colors. Navy blue was the clear winner. I mean, it was almost like double any other shirt. So my big 39 of the shirts I sold this month were navy blue. But number 2 place, this is interesting, was olive. I sold 23 olive shirts. And then black and cranberry are tied for 3rd place at 15 apiece. So again, it might just be my designs. It might not be that, black is not popular. It's just that my designs might not look as nice on a black shirt. They look better on navy or olive. And let's see, after that, asphalt's coming in at 14, so that's pretty popular too. And it goes down from there. Grass, which is a green. I don't even want to say a lighter green, but a brighter green, maybe I would say. Royal blue, and let's see, after that we got slate and silver, brown, And then from there I had 2 Kelly greens, 1 white, 1 lemon, aka yellow, and 1 baby blue. So I don't know, that gives you an idea. Obviously the lighter colors are not as popular. Again, I probably have more stuff available on darker colors, but I have quite a bit of stuff available on lighter colors, and it's just not as popular. So that gives you an idea when you are designing products. You probably want to design them so that they're going to look better on a darker colored shirt, because those seem to be what sell. But don't assume it, it has to be black, because obviously I've sold a bunch of shirts and, not that many black compared to the others. I mean, it's almost it's less than half of navy blue, and I sold a lot more olive, and I sold just as many cranberry. So there you go. The only color I didn't sell was red. They have a bright red as opposed to the cranberry. I probably don't have as much of stuff available on the red. You can choose up to 5 colors when you're putting a shirt on there. So I tend to pick the cranberry over the red because it's just a nicer, it's not quite as bright and in your face. Depending on the design, it might work better on red. So I don't know, maybe at Christmas time I might have been selling more red. I don't know. I didn't do one of these color breakdowns, especially since at Christmas time everything would have been skewed because they had run out of a lot of different colors. So guys, that is my update for February. I'm really happy with my sales. Like I said, it's been my best merch month so far, which is impressive because A, it's a short month, and B, it's not usually a big sales month. So definitely adding more shirts helps. This is the most shirts I've ever had on Amazon. I've been at the 500 tier for a while, but I just kind of was dragging my feet about getting stuff on there because I was busy with other stuff. So having this daily limit actually helps me because it forces me to get my shirts on every day. Right now it's 4 a day. So I just, in the morning, that's what I do. I get my 4 shirts on there. I usually have them. Well, no. Sometimes I have them designed ahead of time. Sometimes I have to, scramble to work on some and get some out there. So I don't know. I don't know if that helps you or not. And but there's my update. And I'd love to hear your feedback if you guys are doing merch or doing print on demand. And also I'd love to hear if you guys are interested in the live video or whatever you were interested in. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy selling, everyone.